stars, your moon, your sun. I would love to be that one. I'd love to be the one to make you laugh. I'd love to be.
Welcome back to Savvy Charmed Life. I'm Tracy, and this is going to be my January setup in my A5 Stalogy bullet journal. For this 6-month installment in this particular Stalogy, I have decided to do Disney themes every month, and the month of January is actually my birthday month, and one of my favorite movies from when I was a little girl was Sleeping Beauty. So we are going to do a Sleeping Beauty theme for the month of January. So first things first, I am going to trace around some watercolor paper because we are going to create a splash of pink and blue. This is from the movie, the Disney version of Sleeping Beauty, where the two fairies, Flora and Merryweather, fight over whether Sleeping Beauty's dress should be pink or blue. And in their argument and kind of battle over the dress, at one point, I'll show you an image of what it looks like here. The dress becomes splattered between pink and blue in the dress. So what we're going to do is we are going to use watercolor, well, not technically watercolor, we're going to use kind of a watercolor method that I have seen other people use, where you use markers on a Ziploc bag with water to kind of pat out a watercolor splatter on paper, and we're going to overlap a pink and a blue to create that effect of the splattering of the two colors kind of merging together. So what I'm first going to do is I basically pulled up an image of the two colors, that image I'm showing you here, and I'm trying to test out all the different blues and pinks that I have in my set of Crayola Super Tip markers to try to find the pinks and the blues that are going to work best for this piece of art that we're creating. So I'm testing out all of my colors. So once I pick the right pink, I'm going to kind of pair the pink that I chose with the different blues, and we're going to try to figure out which color is going to be the best. So once I made that decision, then we're going to draw onto a Ziploc bag, a plastic sandwich bag, with blue ink, and then we're going to spray it with some water. I kind of realized that I used too much water the first time, so I redrew it and then basically flipped it over and just pushed it onto the watercolor paper. And I'm going to do the same thing until I get enough of an effect of that splattering of water that I want on that. So I'm going to put the blue on the left side and the pink on the right, which is the way it is on the dress that you see. And we're going to kind of get that effect. So I'm just going to repeat this process until I get a good splattering of color that I like. There is actually quite a bit of controversy over what color Sleeping Beauty's dress should be. I prefer the blue, and if you watch the movie Sleeping Beauty, she is in the blue version of the dress, more screen time than she is in the pink version of the dress. And even though pink is one of my favorite colors, I always preferred her in the blue. I just thought the blue always looks so much prettier on her. But for marketing purposes, Sleeping Beauty has to be pink because they decided to go with blue for Cinderella, even though Cinderella's dress is technically silver, which is a whole nother argument and discussion to have. There's a really great YouTuber, Modern Gurlz, who actually explains why Cinderella's dress is actually silver and not blue, so I'll link that below. I love her videos. But Cinderella, they decided to market as blue. So Sleeping Beauty kind of has to be pink. She doesn't really have an option. But if you watch the video of Sleeping Beauty all the way to the end, when they're dancing in the clouds, just before the book is closed, technically the last color you see her in is pink. So there's lots of, arguments we could make for which color Sleeping Beauty should be in, but technically Disney has decided she is the pink princess. But I would love to hear your opinions on this subject in the comment section below. Let me know, which do you prefer Sleeping Beauty in, the pink dress or the blue dress? Which color do you think she technically should be? Do you think Disney made the wrong decision? Let me know. So while our Make It Pink, Make It Blue watercolor splashes are drying, we are going to start working on my monthly overview page. So my original plan was to try to draw the cake that Fauna makes for Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, on her 16th birthday. And I will show you an image of what that cake looks like here. I remember as a child that this scene where the three fairies try to do things without magic is probably my favorite scene from the movie. That scene just was always so much fun. So Fauna attempts to make this cake very badly and doesn't even bake it. So she's like trying to stack this multi-layer cake that's all like soggy and like falling over, and she has to prop it up with a broom, and it's just hilarious. So my original plan was to try to draw this cake, which turned out really badly. It was something that was very difficult to draw for me. So instead I recreated it on Canva, and I'm just cutting it out and pasting it into the bottom right hand corner of the monthly overview page. And I actually went ahead and recreated both of the cover page for January as well as the monthly overview page, and I'm going to make those available in my Etsy shop. And I'm also going to, for the first time, give you all my wonderful viewers and subscribers a discount in my shop. I'm actually going to give you guys a 50% off discount, so you can actually access lots of fun printables and digital downloads for bullet journal spreads that I have recreated in a printable way for you guys. So, and that way you can just, instead of doing the drawing yourself, you can just print it, paste it into your planner, and you're good to go. So I'm going to give you guys a coupon code, so definitely check below for that coupon code, alright, in the description box. So for the monthly overview, I am also using my Planning with K calendar month sticker, as well as the numbers, like a vertical number strip that I'm actually going to put down the left hand side of the page as well. Now we are going to paste in our watercolor splashes onto the left-hand side of the page. I actually ran out of my double-sided tape, but I realized the double-sided tape may not work on the texture of the watercolor paper anyway, so I'm actually instead using just a glue stick, which I did have to kind of give it a second to fully dry, and I even had some issues later on where I had to like cut off the edge that just did not want to glue down properly in the center. But I end up closing the book with another piece of watercolor as like a protector on the other side of the page, and kind of put a little bit of weight on top of my notebook to give it some time to dry flat properly. So gluing in this piece of watercolor paper ended up proving a little bit more difficult than I originally wanted it to be. Now I'm taking another piece of scrap watercolor paper, and I'm just practicing writing out January in cursive so that I remember how to do it properly. But I don't know if you guys ever do this, but I practiced it beautifully, and then when I actually wrote it, I kind of wrote it funky and accidentally wrote it like a U instead of an A, the second letter. And then it ended up, because I had to fix it, the first A in January ended up being more thick than the rest of the letters. And the more I fixed it, the more I hated it. And I was back and forth. Part of me wanted to just take another piece of paper and write January and then glue it on instead, but I didn't want to take away from the beauty of the splashes of color behind it. So in the end, I just made myself be okay with the imperfections in the word January. You guys know me, if you've been watching me for a while, that I think there is beauty in the imperfections, and I feel like when there are imperfections in your notebook, it just is a reflection of you and who you are, and that you're real and you're human and we make mistakes. So I kind of embrace my mistakes and just go with the flow, and I feel like I am a happier, healthier person for that reason. But yeah, so after writing the script for January, I also wanted to add the very unique Aurora or Sleeping Beauty crown that she wears. Her crown is very simplistic, but very unique in its shape. So it's a basic gold crown, and I'm going to put it so that kind of the purpose or the point of what I wanted to do was that I wanted to look like it was kind of hanging off the top of the J in January, but in the end, it really looks like it's just kind of resting on top of the J in January. Looking back now, I realize I should have had it kind of loop through the curved part at the top, so it really looked like it was kind of like hanging off of the top of the letter. But I still think it looks really great the way it is. I'm just going to use my Jelly Roll. So I'm just going to use my Jelly Roll gold metallic gel pen to create that crown. So right now I'm just going to practice drawing the crown, and then I'm going to draw it onto my actual watercolor picture. Now I'm going to add some vellum in between my cover page and monthly overview page, and I just found a Sleeping Beauty themed digital paper pack on Etsy, and I printed it onto some vellum, and I cut it to size by tracing the Stalogy around, and then cut it out. And then I'm going to use some thin washi tape to attach it into the spine of the Stalogy. And you're seeing me now. I told you earlier that I ended up having to cut some of the inside edge of my watercolor image out, and I ended up having to add a little bit more of the glue stick. Like I said, the gluing in the watercolor paper ended up being more of a headache than I would have liked it to have been. But I use washi tape and a ruler to get the washi tape down into the inside edge really well, and then it really helps to have that edge be nice and straight, and using thinner washi tape is also a plus when attaching vellum, tipping vellum into your planner this way.
You make me feel like a piece of art. I could sit and listen to you talk.
So in this year or 6-month installment of our Stalogy, we're actually going to be mixing things up and doing things a little differently than I have in my previous months in my last installment. If you have watched my Plan With Me's from, July through December, I basically was doing a cover page, a monthly overview or month at a glance page. I was doing a master to-do page where I would list out personal work and YouTube. And then I had a page where I would have lists for shopping, and then also what's currently going on in my life. So I had books that I was currently reading, and then a shopping list, and then I would list like the actual videos that I published on YouTube, and then I think I had like a note section. But I found that I wasn't really utilizing the pages as much as I would like, so I'm kind of mixing things up. I also realized that I was really bad about filling in my weekly tracker, and I'm horrible at doing like full trackers for like a 6-month or yearly period. So I did not put any trackers whatsoever. If you watched my 2021 setup video, and I will put a tag for it here and link it below as well, but you will have noticed that I didn't do any trackers whatsoever in my setup pages because I didn't use them. So I'm going to attempt to use a monthly tracker instead. I'm also switching things up with my weekly spreads. I'm not going to do a week at a glance for memory planning like I did previously. I kind of miss using daily spreads, which is what I was doing in 2019 and the first half of 2020. I kind of miss it, so we're going to kind of mix up our how we're doing weeklies and dailies as well. But so these two spreads in my Stalogy are going to be just kind of like a generic notes page on the left hand side, which will be things that I need to get done, or it's kind of like a brain dump / master to do, really however I want to use it. So it'll be ideas of YouTube videos, maybe things that I need to buy, just like notes and brainstorming or brain dump area. So that's what's going to be on the left hand side of the page. And then on the right hand side of the page is going to be a content calendar specifically for this YouTube channel, where I list out what videos I want to publish when, and what videos actually get published throughout the month. So that's what's going to go on the right hand side of the page. This page, also the setup itself is pretty basic. I just took 2 images from like the artwork that you see in the movie Sleeping Beauty, and they're from like the countryside, kind of from like the middle of the movie. So I cut those out in these 2 little rectangles and pasted them on the bottom left and right hand corners. And then I also have this little book of like sticker washi tapes that I just got on clearance at Michael's like 1,000 years ago. I don't even know what brand it is to tell you how to buy it, and just found some stickers that I thought worked with the Sleeping Beauty colors, or the color scheme that we're working with, and put those like alternating on the inner left and right hand corners of the alternating pages. And then I started with using my Tombow brush pen, the gray color, the light gray color, to put my titles of what the pages are, but I really didn't like the gray, and I actually come back later and add gold labels instead that I stick on. But the notes page is pretty much going to stay blank as it is. And then the right hand page, I'm going to use another one of my vertical number strips from Planning with Kay to put down the left hand side of the page to write out what I publish when on YouTube. I haven't decided yet, but I may create a YouTube column and an Instagram column, because I'm really bad about posting on YouTube, posting on Instagram on a regular basis. So I may separate it into columns and have a YouTube and Instagram column, but I'm going to be playing with it to figure out how I want to use this the most efficient way. Now on the following page is going to be kind of like a quote page, and this is an image that I created a long time ago and has actually been on my Etsy shop for quite a while, and is available. I'll link it below as well, but I am going to paste it onto the page, and in a little while we're going to add some additional decorative elements around it. But for now we're just going to paste this in using double-sided tape. And then I also have this really pretty washi sample that I actually got as like a freebie in an order a while back, and it has pink and gold elements, and I just feel like it's perfect for the Sleeping Beauty theme. I feel like it goes really well with our color scheme, so I really wanted to find a way to use it. So I am just using it in a decorative way on both the right and left side. The right hand page is actually going to be where I put my habit tracker, and we actually unfortunately missed where I wrote in habit tracker using my gold jelly roll pen, but I want to attempt to track 4 things this month. I want to track my no sugar intake. I want to track my cardio as well as my strengthening exercises, like my yoga and Pilates and that sort of thing. And then I also want to track the days that I feel pain, because I have some chronic lower back pain and I see a chiropractor on a regular basis, and I just want to track how much pain I'm feeling on a regular basis. So originally I was going to go in with pencil, but in the end decided to erase that and go back and just do the whole thing in pen from the start. And I actually think I may want to change up how I do this in the future. I'm using this Planning with K strip that is aligned a different way. It's still a vertical, it's really a horizontal long strip. So I thought it would work really well to have a habit tracker grid. But I feel like it was a lot of work making this grid, drawing this grid out, and it wasn't perfectly lined up, even using my ruler. So next time I think I'm going to find a way to do a different tracker, like maybe do like little monthly calendar grids instead for each separate one. But this is how I did this one. I basically just created a table grid where I had the 4 sections and drew lines between each of the numbers. So it ended up being a lot of work, so I'm definitely going to try to find a different way to set these habit trackers up for the following month if I decide to continue tracking this way. On this left hand side, I am actually trying to kind of recreate the feeling of the clouds that Prince Philip and Princess Aurora are dancing in at the end of the movie. I'll put another clip here. I kind of showed you what it looked like earlier, but it's kind of like these pink fluffy clouds with like stars, kind of like a sparkle to them. So that's kind of what the goal was here, or where my mind was going when I was trying to create this feel of these light puffy cotton candy almost looking clouds. And then I'm going to add some little starry kinds of elements around it as well.
Shades of blue. Of you like to run free, but I'll still make my plans. I'll change my routine if you hold my hand. 'Cause all my shades of blue go away when I'm with you. Put a goal.
And one more thing on the right hand page, we are just going to add a quote from Sleeping Beauty where she says, "They say if you dream a thing more than once, it's sure to come true."
Shades of blue. Go away when I'm with you. Put a golden frame around my heart. 'Cause you make me feel like a piece of
So now we're just going to add some last pieces to this. I'm going to do my YouTube and Instagram tracker. And again, I always have trouble drawing the YouTube symbol for some reason. So I'm having to kind of fix that a little bit. And then we're going to add those gold labels of the titles on the following page as well.
I would love to be your stars, your moon, your sun. I would love to be that one. I'd love to be the one to make you laugh. I'd love to be the one who'd always say that I love you back.
Okay, so now to the final flip through. I actually love how that watercolor splash page came out. I think it looks so beautiful, and I really love how this theme came together in the end. I was a little nervous about it. I think it came out really nice, and I'm also excited to see if the new setup that I'm going to be using, how it works for me. So I'll definitely let you guys know that, and we'll tweak it as we move forward. So this is my setup for January. So if you loved this particular setup, if you love Sleeping Beauty and you enjoyed watching this one, then please hit that like button. It would truly mean the world to me. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, I would love to welcome you to the Savvy Charmed Life family, so please hit that subscribe button as well. Okay, see you next time. Bye.
I could sit